Hey everybody, Eric from Iowa Aerial here, vlog number 1. Okay, so it finally happened. After months of careful flying, I wrecked the thing. Flying into a, I was flying around a bridge, I'll show you here. Thought I was going to miss the light pole, and at the last second I realized I was going to hit it. The damage was very minimal. Broke 2 propellers, not a big deal, I've got spares. And I had a little bit of a bend, which I'll show you later on in the video here when we go to the breakdown of the thing. And 1 screw socket on the inside of the arm that was a little bit messed up. So I seated that back into place. Everything's good. But what I used that whole thing, that whole event for, was to develop a maintenance log for the Phantom 3 Standard, which I will put a link in the description if you guys want to use it. Okay, so in the crash, the battery was not damaged. It didn't take a hard fall. It kind of slid down a guy wire into a bunch of weeds. So the only hard impact was the initial impact against the telephone pole. And all the damage was to the one arm, and there wasn't much at all. You'll kind of see that in the next part of the video here. But there was no hard impact to the battery, no issues there, so all of the expensive damage was avoided. You'll notice right now, because I've already done all the tear down and everything, that I don't have these stickers on here. I was thinking about ordering replacements, but I kind of like it without them, so we're just going to leave them off. But those have to be removed or cut along the seam here in order to break open the shell. Now the whole shell break open process I won't get into. It's long. There's these screws here, and this one, not the motor mount screws. Those don't have to come out, but this little screw up here, these 2, and this one on each arm. But that's the easy part. The rest of the shell, there are connectors inside here that have to be broken apart. It's a kind of a long process. There's lots of videos on YouTube about how to do it, so I won't go into that now. But I'll go ahead and go into what I found on the inside, and we'll go from there. So sometimes after a crash like this one, it's important to take apart your Phantom or whatever drone you're flying and check a bunch of screws. I've got it all apart here. I'm not going to show you all how to do that just because there's plenty of other videos on how to do that. And it's kind of a long process to get this top of the shell off. But I've got one of the motors here just so you can see. So I haven't taken all the motors off, but I just took the one off to look at this slight camber here. You'll see that the motor is at kind of an angle there. That's no mistake. That's nothing that's messed up. That's actually how they're supposed to be. You'll notice that, so here's the front. The ones on the sides are leaned in towards each other a little bit, and that is just how they're supposed to be. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how the geometry is set up on it. So we're going to check all the screws under here, and also going to check the screws that hold the shell on. Now those aren't as important because the shell will not come off even if the screws get loose, but the motor screws right under this side here are the most important to check. They do have a little bit of this blue thread locker stuff on them that actually didn't seem to be doing a whole lot of good. The one problem that I ran into after the crash, and if you can see it right here, there's just a little bit of a bend in the main arm of the bird here. And it's the same on the other side. You can see the other ones, that's not there. So what I'm going to try to do is apply a little heat to those and try to get them to straighten back out with a little gentle persuasion by some pressure on the side. What I'm doing to fix this here, I'm heating up my soldering iron slash wood burner. I'm not going to apply it directly. What I'm going to do is just hold it a little bit off to the side here, just enough to soften the plastic, and then I'm just going to use gentle pressure on the side to kind of straighten it out. Hopefully that'll push everything back into place and straighten everything out. Side note, I gotta be really careful not to get too much heat on the wiring or on the ESC in here, because that could damage it.
Ha, it's working.
I got nowhere enough heat on here to melt the plastic, just hot enough to soften it up a little bit and make it moldable. And then just use the edge of this regular table knife here to kind of run along the edge and smooth things out, and it seems to have worked perfectly. I'm gonna do a quick flight test just within this little section of yard here, just to be absolutely sure that everything's working properly. We're not doing any toilet bowling, which is a sign of IMU calibration issues. So I'm going to make sure to check all that out before I even take off.
We've got a little bit of wind here, so you'll see it washing around a little bit, but it looks like everything is okay and ready to go.
So we've wrapped up the test flight, everything looks good, it's flying and operating as it should. We've repaired the Phantom after a hard crash, there wasn't all that much damage, no cracks to the hull, anything like that to worry about. Since you've made it through this whole video, I want to personally thank each one of you for sticking with me. This is going to be episode 1 of my vlog that I'm going to try out here. I'm going to use this to chronicle the startup of my drone business. I've read lots of material, listened to lots of podcasts on the subject, heard from experts, all of this, trying to get a drone business started. I've gotten through a couple of the first steps. I've got my Part 107 license now. I've been flying around doing lots of practice, getting aerial imagery, videos, stills, all of that. Hopefully trying to boost my quality to as high as I can possibly get it, so by the time I actually go to sell a product, it's top notch. Because if I start out selling a product to people, whether it be real estate photography, anything, if they want to just take a look at their roof, I want all of it to be of the highest quality, because I want to build a reputation right from the beginning of being the best option for aerial imaging. I'm just going to do the photography and videography side of things at the beginning. I don't want to get into thermal imaging, any of that too fast, because I simply don't have the resources. It's going to take a while to get some capital together, buy the Phantom 4 Pro, a professional grade DSLR camera, hopefully the Osmo Plus, a GoPro, stuff like that. Just the things that will give me a good base and a good starting point. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel. There's more to come. Videos won't come out very often because I have very limited time in which to do them, but stay tuned. We're going to have some great stuff to come. I'm going to be flying around some really scenic areas of the country, especially parts of the state of Tennessee that I just moved to, the western side. So stay tuned. Look for more to come.